All right, here's our next thing is standard algorithm with multiplication. And this time we are going to do a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. So I'm going to try to like use different colors to represent like where I am multiplying like certain things. So it might be easier to see. So you always start in the bottom right corner, and then you multiply each number on the top row with it. So for instance, our first two numbers that we are going to multiply are 5 and 4 in the ones place. So 5 times 4 give us 20. So I would put the 0 here, and you have to carry the 2. The numbers that you carry get added to your answers that you get after you multiply. Now we're still using this 5 in the ones place, but we're going to multiply the 2 in the tens place in 824. So we're going to do 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10, and we're going to add this 2 to that 10. So 10 plus 2 is what? 12. So we have 2, and then we carry the 1. I'm going to cross off this 2 so we don't use it anymore. We know we're done with it. We don't need it anymore. What number are we going to multiply next with 5? We are multiplying the 8 in the hundreds place with 5. So now we're doing 8 times 5, or 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, good. And then you add the 1, and you get 41. So you would put the 1, and then the 4. And you cross that off. Good, because we don't want to use that again. Now we use this 5, and I'm going to cross off this 5 so we know not to use it anymore. That 5's done. We're going to jump over to the tens place. And there's a 2 in the tens place, which is also known as 20. Since we're starting in the tens place, we want to cover up this ones place with a 0. We are putting a 0 in the ones place because we're not starting with the ones this time. We're starting with the tens. So now we are doing 2 times 4. 2 times 4 gives us 8, and that's going right in the tens place there. Now we are doing 2 times 2. 2 times 2 gives us 4, good. And our last two numbers that we are multiplying are 2 times 8. 2 times 8 gives us 16, good. Now we would go ahead and we are going to add our two answers together. So we have 4,120 and then 16,480. So I'm going to draw my addition symbol, and I'm going to draw my line, which I know is not perfect, I'm sorry. And I'm going to start at the far right, because you always start at the far right. The smallest place value you start with first. So in this case, it's the ones place. So 0 plus 0 is 0, good. 2 plus 8, 10. You would put the 0 in the tens place, and you would carry the 1 over to the hundreds place. So now we have 4 plus 1 plus 1. 6. I'm going to bring my comma back down. 6 plus 4, 10. The same thing here. We put the 0 in the thousands place, and we carry the 1 over to the 10,000s place. And then in the 10,000s place, we have 1 plus 1. And that is 2. So your final answer should have been 20,600. Now that is how you would do it with standard algorithm. But there's another way that you can do this as well, and that is with partial products. I'm gonna see if I can move all this over so that we can kind of keep this there so you can see how it relates. So I'm gonna move that over there. And there's partial products and the array, which we've been working with. And a lot of us have found success with the array, but we've seemed to get like confused once we have a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. It's the exact same as if there was a 2-digit by 2-digit. So I'm gonna do 800. Oh, I don't like that. It's like so sloppy. I'm going to use a line to make it straight. So here's my top row. And there's my side row. And since the bigger number I'm putting on top, that length should be longer than the side because that number is bigger. So now I can go ahead and I'm going to separate this into 3 columns. 1, which the hundreds place is going to be biggest. The hundreds place is going to be your biggest number. Then we have our tens place, and then our ones place is the smallest. And then we have our tens and ones place here. So we have our box set up. Now we need to write our numbers. So 824 splits up into 3 different numbers. In the hundreds place, we have the 800. In the tens place, we have the 20. And in the ones place, we have the 4. So now we're going to come to this side and we still need to split up 25. So what number is in the tens place? Good, 20. And the ones place? 5. Now we are going to start multiplying. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to start in this bottom corner over here. 4 times 5. We're going to go, and this is the corner we're starting at. So 5 times 4, 20. Good. Now let's go over to the next box. This one right here. What 2 numbers do you think we're going to multiply next? Good, 5 times 20, and that gives us 100. Now our last box in this bottom row, we have 5 times 800, and that's going to give us a bigger number. So what number is that? 4,000. Can you see how this 4,100 and the 20 are represented over here with our standard algorithm? There's the 20 for multiplying the ones place. We have our 100 for multiplying the ones place and the tens place. And then we have our 4,000 for multiplying the ones place and the hundreds place. Now we're going to go back up to our top row, and we're going to start in this top right box. And we are going to be multiplying what 2 numbers? 20 times 4, and that gives us what? 80, good. Our next 2 boxes, we have the tens place and the tens place. 20 times 20. 400. And then this last box, the hundreds place times the tens place. 16,000. It's a huge number. So we figured out what each place value, by multiplying them, what they would equal. So what is my next step? We have to add all these up, and I recommend starting with the biggest number and then going to the smaller number. So I'm going to start with 16,000, but let me move this over some so I have some room. That should be good. All right, so I'm going to write my 16,000. And remember, when you are writing your numbers to add them or multiply them or anything, you need to make sure you're lining the place values up. So we have our 16,000 written. Now we're going to do our 4,000. So the 4 lines up in the thousands place, hundreds place, tens place, ones place. We have our 400. So the 4 is in the hundreds place. Tens place is a 0, and then a ones place is a 0. 100, 100's place, tens place, ones place. Now we have our 80, which is just the tens place and the ones place. And then we have our 20, which again is just the tens place and the ones place. Now, if this is too much for you to add, you don't have to add them all up together like this. You can split them up some. So let's start with our ones place. You always start with the ones place. Or you start with whatever is the smallest number or the smallest place value. So 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0. Easy. 0. Tens place. 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 plus 2. 10. So what does that mean when I have a 2-digit number? I need to carry. So I'm going to put the 0 here in the tens place, and I'm going to carry the 1 to the hundreds place. You have to regroup. You have to round it up. You have to carry it up, not round it up. You got to carry it up. Now 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 4 plus 1. 6. We don't have anything to carry. Bring your comma down. 6 plus 4. 10. Good. So we put our 0, carry the 1, and then 1 plus 2. 20,600. Did we get the same answer? We did. So you can also, if you want to start with the array, this strategy right here is called the array. You can do that. You can also do it if you're doing standard algorithm first. You can use the array to check your work to make sure you're correct.